Did the US just thank Iran for attacking their airbase? Today, history was made as Iran responded to the attack on its soil by the United States with an attack in response on a US base, AlUdeid in Qatar. Here's what's crazy though, this may well not elicit a response again from the United States. Here's what Trump had to say, and in true undiplomatic fashion, one could argue he basically gives everything away. He says the quiet part out loud, he's very blunt, very upfront, for better or worse, right? He says, quote, "I am pleased to report that no Americans were harmed and hardly any damage was done." Should I try Trump? Should I try Trump? Okay. "Most importantly, they've gotten it all out of their system, and there will hopefully be no further hate." This is what Trump said in a social media post. Sorry about that. I'm trying my Trump. It doesn't always go very well. Let me finish up. Quote, he says, "I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice, Iran for giving us early notice, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. Perhaps Iran can now proceed to peace and harmony in the region. And I will enthusiastically," it's a long word for him, "encourage Israel to do the same." End quote. Sorry, I'm not anti-Trump, by the way, so if I insult him, don't take that as anti-Trump. It's just, ideas that come into my head. Now, what a nightmare this is for Israel. The American head of state just thanked Iran for letting them know in advance before firing missiles at an American base. Israel will be like, they'll be fuming like Hermione Granger when Lavender Brown is doting after Ron Weasley. They will have smoke coming out of their ears. Why? Because they were elated, the Israeli state, when the US finally managed to step into the ring on June 21st with their bombing strike at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. And they got even more excited, no doubt, when Iran responded with an attack on AlUdeid today in Qatar. But so far, the sentiment seems to be, we hit you, you hit us back, no casualties in both strikes, no harm done, let's call it a day, let's shake hands, make peace, and, drink, Persian tea and, alcohol, a beer. I don't know what Americans drink. America basically says to Israel, let's make peace, eh? Israel would probably slap the US right now if it didn't desperately need its help in a drawn-out war. You see, today, Iran attacked AlUdeid, an American airbase in Qatar. Why is there an American airbase in Qatar, by the way, and several other Gulf countries? Well, that's a tale of power and empire and spheres of influence and protectorates, a tale we will embark on perhaps when I start up on YouTube in the very near future, or perhaps in a future TikTok post. For now, here's the bit you really need to know. Qatar is unlikely to do anything to retaliate against Iran. It's a fellow native brother state, and America may very well do nothing to retaliate either. Right? They thanked Iran for letting them know in advance so that they could shift personnel out. No one died. Good stuff. As Trump has said, Iran has gotten it out of their system. So now they can all move on. Israel will be furious and terrified in equal measure. As I described earlier today, Iran began using deadly new missiles today and yesterday, the Khaybar Shekan. Israel continues to be pummeled daily by missiles, a lot of which they're not being able to intercept. Contrary to what a lot of Western news outlets and Western-leaning TikTok accounts are saying, I'm talking to you, Geo Hussar, Iran's missile launches being hit has not stopped them from lobbing missiles back Israel's way. I said that Iran was exercising strategic restraint. Pro-West accounts said, no, they just suck. They're just dying slowly and Iran will be over in the next couple of days. Well, guess what? They're not over. And actually, Israel looks like they're on the back foot now. I can quite categorically say that geostrategically, Israel has not achieved its war goals. So unless the United States comes in a big way again and stays, Israel's going to have a very hard time winning this conflict. Israel's now in panic mode. Have I started a war? I can't finish. Have I poked a lion in the eye and I'm now defenseless and it's about to maul me? Wait. Am I losing? That's basically its situation right now. Is losing to Iran impossible? To have aerial superiority over your enemy's capital but still somehow be losing? How is that possible? Well, I'll tell you how. Same way the Israeli state have air, land and sea control around Gaza but are losing to resistance groups running around the territory with Soviet-era small arms weapons, no helmets, no body armor, no army, navy or air force. They're still losing, Israel, somehow. You see, Israel's very well taken care of economically and on paper, right, by the United States. But that leads to shortcomings when conflicts get kinetic for them because they're too comfortable, one could argue, from a geostrategic perspective. They're not fighting for their life, but everyone they seem to attack seems to be fighting on their homeland for their life with no dual nationality to fly off to somewhere else, a home away from home or the other home. They don't have that. Iran didn't have that. Gaza didn't have that. Palestinians generally don't have that. The question is now, with the US potentially not entering this war, with Iran ready for de-escalation while also continuing attritional damage via missiles targeting the largest Israeli cities, including the capital Tel Aviv, the question on everyone's mind is now, who is more likely to break first? I made a post like this a couple of days ago, well, 3-4 days ago probably, and I said, analytically speaking, Iran is built for resilience. Iran is built for a conflict like this. Israel is built for a quick, super alpha damage strike, bring the US in, absolutely decimate your enemy, bring them to their knees. But they've not managed, not yet at least. So it's really dragging out, and that might help Iran rather than help Israel, the attacker. Analytically, at this moment in time, my money's on the Persian lion. And if it comes out, and if Iran comes out of this with a ceasefire or a peace, it will be the first time in history a conflict against the United States and an ally has ended so quickly with a full surrender, without a full surrender by the one they were fighting, in this case, Iran. Right? I'm not taking sides. I'm giving you my analytical analysis, and the conclusion I currently come to is Israel's not achieving their war goals, and it's actually looking quite shaky for them, especially with the US not looking to commit. The US talking as if, hasta la bye-bye, I'm off. Okay, I did a quick cheeky bombing run, I'm off now. Maybe Israeli intelligence is better, though, than we all gave it credit for. Maybe they actually saw this whole thing coming, after all. They named their preemptive strike Operation Rising Lion. Guys, before I finish, I want to thank those of you who joined me in my ad hoc, impromptu, sort of random live earlier today when I heard that the AlUdeid, the airbase in Qatar, was being attacked. I went live just to give you the details. Whoever was around, 2,500 people showed up, and all kinds of animated gifts were being given, and I really appreciated it. That's going straight to the animation budget. I can tell you now, you're going to see, hopefully, if that kind of treatment carries on from you guys to me, I'm going to open up on YouTube, Caspian Report style, but not Western leaning like Caspian Report admittedly is, more like a Qassam Report. Honestly, if you missed out, don't worry. I'm working to make lives a regular thing. So tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. UK time, I'll hop on a live for 30 minutes and see if announcing it here actually makes a difference. See you there. Bring your support, bring your cup of tea and your questions. We can have a real-time back and forth once again and drink tea together. Until then, for the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin, I'm Mahfouz. It's a pleasure delivering the news to you, and I'll see you on the next one.